Yep, right here, right? So off of the single leg here, in order to counter this position, the first thing I would do is get head pressure down and then swing open up my hips towards my opponent and start looking for my whizzer. Again, for those of you that aren't familiar with the term, a whizzer is just going to be, I'm wrapping my hand over the top of his arm. I like to make a fist, and depending on where I'm going with it, sometimes just down pressure into my own thigh works. Sometimes I'll cinch it up a little bit higher. So in order to counter this single leg off the whistle or off the initial contact, I'm going to get head pressure here. I'm going to look to get this leg back, right? The further he sucks it in, the more control he's going to have. So as soon as he makes contact and locks the single leg up, I'm going to down pressure the head. I'm going to start getting this leg back as far as I can in a sprawl position, and then I'm going to start tightening up this whizzer. So as I kick the leg back, you can see I'm kind of adjusting. I want, in this whizzer position, 99 times out of 100, I want my shoulder above his. Okay, there'll be some parallel, but if my shoulder's under his at any point when we're in a whizzer, he's got the advantage, right? So having that down pressure creates an uncomfortable position for him, hopefully a little bit of pain, a little bit of pressure, and allows us to control the position. So again, I would just continue pressure down to the mat until I can get this leg broke, or his hands broke, and start getting this leg free. Okay, even if he keeps his hands locked on the single, all right, I'm still going to generate down pressure here, and the first thing we'll go into is a little pop over whizzer, they call it. All right, and I'll show a couple different finishes from it. But to take advantage of this pop over whizzer, we're going to start getting our leg back, create some space, start stretching those arms out. All right, even if he's got the lock, it's okay here. Ideally, you'd want to break it, but if we can't, my left hand's going to have head pressure down on the neck. All right, and I've got my whizzer here, which again is just an overhook, and I've up to this point had my hand locked down on my thigh. Now I'm going to grab the wrist here. I'm going to grab my own wrist. So it's going to be this type of lock here. Okay, my left hand on the back of the head and the neck. This hand comes underneath and grabs my own wrist. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push his head through his own armpit. All right, so as I push him through, his eyes should be looking towards that wall and eventually up at the ceiling if I do it right. Okay, so I'm going to take my left hand and I'm looking to push it through the hole, push his head through that hole created by his armpit, this direction here. All right, now we're going to go back to the whizzer. As I push the head through, I'm going to use the whizzer that I've got here to drive his shoulders towards the mat. So his head's going this direction, and with the whizzer control, I'm going to flop his shoulders towards the mat here. Just like this. Okay? If you guys have any freestyle or Greco background, this works well in that. Works really well in Greco because he can't have my leg, right? So if you trap him in a front headlock position, or maybe he tries to get underneath you and you get a good sprawl, this pop over whizzer, it's 2 points every time you hit it in freestyle. You can develop a roll off of it, but for your MMA and wrestling guys, off of this position here, we can take it to just a takedown, or we can take it to a pin position. So again, off of his single leg, jam the head, get the leg back the best you can. If you can't break the grip, that's fine. Let him feel in control, because we're going to go quickly with this overhook whizzer. Grab my own wrist. I'm pushing the head through his armpit, through this hole underneath his arm, and I'm rotating this whizzer, this good shoulder pressure, forward and down towards the mat at the same time. Okay? If I get him here, if he bellies down, goes back to his belly, we just limp arm out. This is called the limp arm. I'm just going to make my arm like a noodle and kind of just let it flow out of that pocket. Get behind and get our takedown. Okay? We can take it to a pin, which I call a Michigan position. All right? So on that, and I'll show it a couple different angles here, but as I push the head through, right, I'm pushing the head through, I'm going to start rotating down. My hand that's on the back of his neck, as soon as I feel him break that 45-degree angle, and I know he's going to fall off, I'm going to pull this hand out so it doesn't get trapped, and this hand here is going to go behind his neck. All right, watch. Here, underneath his back. All right, and then we're going to lock our hands in his armpit. Okay, and I'll rotate and show this a couple different directions here. All right, from this position here, you know, we get a pin out of it a lot of times, or at least some back points and near fall. I get up on my toes, chin in the gut. Let's turn this way just to give a couple different looks here. All right, so we got our whizzer going on. I'm gonna push through. This hand that's got the whizzer, I'm going straight across his neck. So as I start to rotate him to the mat, my hand here is gonna come off the back of his neck. This hand here is gonna catch around his waist and just let him fall. So actually I'm committing to trapping my left hand underneath his belly, or underneath the small of his back, but I'm okay because we're gonna lock here. Big dude. Right in the armpit. Well, I got short arms too. All right, right here in the armpit. This is what generally is known as the Michigan position. For some reason. Yep, I'll rotate it. Yeah, you guys get up, it's very casual, wherever you can see. I'm going to try to give you guys the same move, a couple different looks, but one more time on this and then we'll break out. Get your whizzer. Here, head pressure on the head. I'm going to push his head through this hole that's created, this hole underneath his armpit. And as I do that, as I push his head through, I'm using my whizzer shoulder position and I'm going to go down and towards the mat. Get him to do a little somersault. All right, get him going halfway. As soon as I feel him going, I'm going to release my grip. This hand's coming to the small of the back. And this hand is going to go straight across his neck. Right by his ear. All right, I let him fall off. Boom. And then get up on my toes. I'm going to lock right here. Okay, small group, we're going to take our time. I'm quality, not quantity. I can throw 42 moves at you, but I want you to be able to take them when you leave here and be able to duplicate them without me next week. So we're going to make sure we get each situation as thorough as we can without beating a dead horse, but so that you guys can walk away from today and be able to replicate it, you know, in a couple of days. All right, I don't get paid by the move. I get, you know, some coaches. Oh, we're going to do 36 moves, and then the kid remembers 4 of them, and you just wasted all that other stuff. So I want you guys to get the most bang for your buck. So it's not going to be super fast-paced, but you're going to have a good understanding when you walk out what we covered today. Okay?